How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another Discord bot video. So at this point in the series, you're probably acquainted with the basics, right? So you know how to make basic commands. I've taught you how to make slash commands as well, as you can see here, and I've taught you a bit about messing with some Discord components like buttons and like drop down lists and all that kind of stuff. So at this point in the series, you should have all the basics that you need to make a simple Discord bot and get it out, host it to your friends, get feedback from your server members. So at this point, you've probably got, a decent project that you're working on, right? So a decent Discord bot with some cool commands. And at this point, you're ready to actually host this for real, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to host your Discord bot 24/7, so that your server members can try it out. Anyone can invite it over. It's just a nice way to keep your Discord bot running forever, pretty much. So this is actually a remake of an old video of mine. So for this video only, I'm going to actually keep the old video up because it actually does show some decent insight on how to get a VPS set up. So that's the hint in this video too. We're going to be using a virtual private server to get our Discord bot set up and ready. So the reason I'm remaking this video is because there's some things in the old video where I could clean up, right? Because in the old video where I use a VPS, that only works for .NET framework projects, right? And nowadays it's 2024. Come on, we're moving on to .NET Core. Just recently .NET 8 came out, right? So people using .NET 7, .NET 8. So a lot of people are using .NET Core to make their Discord bot now, and .NET framework is starting to get a bit outdated, right? So in this video, I'm gonna show you the .NET Core way to host your Discord bot on a VPS. So I'll be keeping the old video up, right? So if you've watched the old video, you'll know that I've used Mono library to get the Discord bot set up, right? And that still works. So if you want to watch the old video for .NET Framework, then definitely check that out. So I know it may sound a bit confusing that I'm doing this right now, but like I said, I'm remaking a lot of these older videos to fit current standards. So let's get started on hosting your Discord bot on a VPS. So first of all, what even is a VPS? I've been throwing this term around VPS, VPS this, VPS that. A VPS is basically a virtual private server. So it's actually it's actually a literal computer that runs in the cloud, and you can access it from anywhere you want. It's literally a computer that runs in the cloud, right? So a virtual private server is a really nice way for us to host our Discord bot because it runs in the cloud, right? It runs 24/7 in the cloud, and the benefit of this is it runs Linux. It's a very popular operating system. It's very lightweight, right? Because obviously, using Windows for this is just please no. Obviously, way before I even start this video, right? Let me get this straight with you viewers. There is no free alternative, right? You are going to have to pay for this. There's no, beating around the bush. You're going to have to pay for services like these. VPSs don't come free. And even if they do come free, it's probably not going to be secure. It's not going to offer many features, right? You want a good VPS, right? So I've got some, I've got some services here. So the first one here is called Fast Hosts. So bear in mind, all the links here will be in the description so that you can, click on these and just access these VPS services. So these guys do, here's a what. So 1 core, half a gigabyte of RAM, and then a 10 gigabyte SSD for £1 per month. Obviously, depending on what country you're in, the price is going to change. So I'm in the UK, so it's going to be pounds for me. Here's one with a gigabyte of RAM and then a 20 gigabyte SSD for £3 a month. So there's some prices here and there. So have a look around. Have a bit of don't just stick to one service provider because maybe other service providers do it for cheaper. So this is Fast Hosts. So they do some decent VPSs. I've got this one that's just called VPS Hosting by Ionos. So let's see. These guys do 1 core, 1 gigabyte, and then 10 gigabytes for £1. So like compared to this, like these guys have got what, half a gigabyte of RAM for £1. So this is actually better. Like they do 2 cores, 4 GB for £5 a month. So this is probably the best like bet for a Discord bot, because bear in mind you want one that actually runs well, right? Because say if your Discord bot is going to be in, you know, several hundreds of servers, you know, you're going to get a lot of incoming traffic. So you need the power to handle that, right? So don't choose an underperforming VPS. So like stuff like this, yeah. So like 2 cores is actually alright. So like 2 cores, 4 GB, and then 160 gigs of storage. That's more than you ever need, because a Discord bot is only like a couple hundred megs, right? So like there's that, and then this is the one I use actually to host my Discord bot. So this is called Contabo, and like you'll see me use this in the older like VPS videos. So like you'll see me use this a lot in like that video, and this is the VPS I use personally because it's amazing. So if we go to VPS and then Cloud VPS, then you know, £5 a month for a 4-core CPU, 6 GB of RAM, and then 100 GB NVMe drive or a 400 GB SSD. Like you may as well go for the 400 GB SSD for £5 a month. That's actually pretty good. So like seriously, like Contabo is amazing. Like this is not sponsored or anything. I just like the service, man, because it's so cheap. The last one is called OVH Cloud. So let's see. So 4-core, 4 GB, and then 80 GB SSD for £7.57. I mean, it's not bad, but honestly, like you may as well go for Contabo because they do more for cheaper. So like that's what VPSs are. So have a bit of a research around and make sure you buy a decent VPS. So like that's all I can say for you, because I'm not in control of your money, right? So this is your money that you're spending. It's very important that we get this right. So that's what VPSs are. So please do your research and choose a good VPS. And in terms of like the operating system, it doesn't matter if you run Ubuntu on it. So like it doesn't matter if you run Ubuntu like 20, right? So most VPSs come with Ubuntu 20 and then LTS. So like the LTS is the server version, or they come with Ubuntu 22. Like you don't have to worry about installing ISOs and like installing Ubuntu like by yourself. It will do it manually for you, and it's going to run the server version. So it's not going to be like the normal GUI. So if I go to images, it's not going to look like this, right? Like the server version of Ubuntu is going to be terminal only. So another disclaimer, make sure you know how to use a Linux terminal. Because I can't stress this enough, because like, a lot of people don't do this, right? Like they don't commit to the research when watching my videos. Like they don't commit to the research documentation, research this, research that. They just dive in balls deep, right? So please, man, take my advice. Make sure you learn what a VPS is. And in this case, make sure you learn how to use an Ubuntu terminal, because it's so important. Once you've picked a good VPS, it's time to actually get started with hosting our Discord bot. Alright, so like the next thing is GitHub, right? So if you haven't heard of GitHub and you're a developer, oh boy, like you are seriously missing out on what GitHub offers. So what GitHub is, if you don't know, then it is a source control like service. So I can pretty much upload any of my projects and like any of my code onto GitHub, and it's a nice way for me to manage my different projects, and I can work from them from anywhere I want. So if you seriously don't know how to use GitHub, please read a guide or join my server so that we can give you some advice, because GitHub is really useful, man. Like I can't like imagine being like a developer and not knowing GitHub, because it's too important not to take advantage of. Seriously, it's way too important not to take advantage of. So first of all, make sure your Discord bot is on GitHub, right, as a repo, because this is the way we'll be importing our project into our VPS. So now we're not going to do any of that copy pasting, you know, stuff like that, because that is not the way to do it, right? So like the best way to do it is through GitHub, because we can upload our project onto GitHub, and then on our VPS we can end up cloning our Discord bot onto the VPS. So it's just pretty seamless, right? So first of all, make sure your Discord bot is on GitHub and it's public, so that we can clone this onto our VPS. Once you've set up your VPS and like you've successfully connected to it, you should be at this point here. So like bear in mind, like all the server versions of Ubuntu is a terminal only installation. So So they won't have a GUI interface like I do here. But if you check out my old video, there is a method to actually install the GUI onto a server version of Linux that's running terminal only, right? So if you want to if you want to install the GUI, then go ahead. But honestly, if you want to run the Discord bot, then you don't really need the GUI. But I just like to have it just for ease of use, right? So I can, like move files about, view the files. Like, it's just easier to manage, right? So if you want to install the GUI, then feel free. But if you want to go terminal only, I mean, like, you're the GOAT if you go terminal only, honestly, because yeah, it takes a lot of skill and effort to know all the commands to be able to use terminal only, right? So I rate you for that. So anyway, we are here. So like in this example, I'm going to be using Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, as you can see here. So like if you're using Ubuntu 22, it's fine. Like honestly, like in this case, it really doesn't matter what version of Ubuntu you're running. Like if you're running Ubuntu 20 or 22 or 23, it's fine. It literally doesn't matter, right? So don't get all confused and all sort of like in panic mode about that. It literally doesn't matter. So what we're going to do then is get started in the terminal. So let's open a terminal window, and obviously, like if you're in terminal only mode, you're going to be in the terminal anyway. So like that's fine. So what we're going to do first is install the .NET SDK, because we are running a .NET Core project, right? So what we need to do is install the .NET SDK so that we can start building our .NET projects. Just before we do that, let's just update our system, right? Make sure everything's all up to date. So what we're going to do first is make sure we're in super user mode, because it will make life easier. It will make life easier when installing certain like libraries. So what we're going to do is say sudo and then su. That's it, and then type in your password. Right, so now we're in now we're in super user mode, as you can see here. So let's just clear the terminal and let's get started on updating the whole system. So what I'm going to do is just a simple command to update the whole system, right? So let's say apt update, and then we'll say and apt upgrade. Like it's very simple, right? So what this is going to do is just update our whole system to like get all the packages and just update it to its latest version. So once we're done with this, we'll be ready to install the .NET SDK. This page actually explains pretty well how to install the .NET SDK. Like, first of all, all we need to do is add the Microsoft package repo, because on Ubuntu 20 it actually doesn't come with the package manager, so it's not on there. So we have to add it, and then all we got to do is just install the SDK. It's just two simple commands, right? So what we'll do is just pretty much copy and paste these commands, because there's nothing much more to it. So what we need to do is first of all do this. So let me just copy and paste it here. So let's see if this works. Yep, I can paste it, kind of, yeah. So we can do that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay. Next, what we need to do is do this. Okay. So let's execute that command. So I'm already in sudo, so I mean, so it doesn't really matter, but okay. And then all we need to do is say rm packages microsoft prod.deb. So let's paste that in, and we should be good now. So what we need to do now is just do apt-get update and then do apt-get upgrade again to apply the changes. So we'll do that real quick, and then we should be able to install the .NET SDK now. So if we do apt-get install -y and then .NET SDK and then 8.0, we should be able to get something. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Cool. So 581 megabytes of additional disk space will be used. So yeah, man. So that, yeah. So that seems pretty standard. Yeah. So it's a whole, so it's a whole dev thing. So once we install the SDK, we are pretty much ready to import our Discord bot into this VPS pretty much. All right. So that was pretty quick. Okay. So if we just say .NET, let's see what happens. There we go. So yeah, like .NET is pretty much there, and like what we can do now is say .NET build, .NET run to run our Discord bot. So that's pretty cool, right? So now it's finally time. It's finally time to import our Discord bot like to this VPS. So for this example, I'm going to use the like, example repo. Git is the way we import our bot, right? Because our bot is on GitHub. So it would make sense to install Git. So let's just do a quick apt get install Git. And yep, that's pretty cool. Yep, let me press Y, and then like this should be very quick because Git is pretty small. So yep, there we go. So if we do Git now, then yep, there we go. Pretty cool now. So let's clone our repo. So what we're going to do is clone it into the documents folder. So like if we do ns, then yeah, let's do cd documents. So like let's store our bot somewhere safe, right? So let's go to cd documents, and then if we do ns, yep, it's empty, right? So let's do git clone. And then what we're going to do is copy and paste this link, because this is the link to our repo. So let's copy and paste this. So copy, and then we're going to paste in this repo. So let me add a space in here. So git clone, and then the link of your repo. So this will start cloning the example code into our VPS. So if we actually check, then there's our Discord bot example code. So if it has a lock symbol on this, there's a good way to actually like to make this unlocked, because what we're doing is cloning this in super user. So this means the normal user cannot access this, right? And that's why it's locked. So like if I try and make any changes, it's not going to allow me to do that. So for example, like if I try and copy the config JSON, like it's not going to allow me to do that. So like if I press select, there we go. It's going to say error while copying the config JSON. What we can do here is, I've got a useful command here for you lot. So what you need to do, if your folder is locked, is say chmod, so like chmod, and then say 777, which means full read, write, and execute, right? So like that's the max permission, right? And then say -r, and then the name of your folder. So in this case, it's called like the Discord bot example code. So if we do this, it's going to be unlocked now, because like now we've got all the permissions set to us. So there we go. The lock symbol is gone. So just do chmod and then 777-r and then the name of your folder, and that should get rid of the lock permissions. Let's go into our Discord bot like folder. So let's say cd Discord bot example code, and then like if we do ls, pretty cool, right? We've just imported our Discord bot into this like this VPS, and like I can view the code, right? So like there we go. Look, it's pretty much all there. Look, like public sealed class program, everything's there. So it's pretty cool, right? So what we're going to do first is build the project. So let's say .NET build. So .NET and then build, and then we need to say the solution of our project. So it's going to be this. So like find the name of your .sln file and put that in. So in my case, it's going to be the Discord bot example project .sln. And that's going to build the project, and it's going to create a bin and then debug folder. And that's where we need to put our config JSON file. If you remember back in the first video we did. So there we go. It's pretty successfully built. And as you can see, it's already done the NuGet package management for us. So if you remember in the old video, we had to get those manually. But when we do .NET build, it actually does it automatically for us. So we don't even have to install NuGet for this. So it's pretty cool because NuGet is already built into this. So if we check our file now, then there we go. We've got a bin folder. So there we go, bin, debug, .NET 8.0. This is where we can paste in our config JSON file for our token and prefix. So let me do that. So let's go to config JSON, copy to, and then let's copy it into the bin debug folder. So so let's paste it in here. And looks like I need to add, like, okay, so let's add the permissions onto here real quick. So if we do cd ... and then like do the same command again. So like chmod 777. So now I can open this file, and then I can add my token and prefix. So let me set my prefix to an exclamation mark. There we go. And then let me paste in my token, and I'll obviously do that off camera. So that's cool. We've got our token and prefix set up. we've like cloned our Discord bot in here. So the final step is just to run it, right? So what we need to do now is say .NET run, and then we run our project. So we run our Discord bots example project.sln. And there we go, yeah. So like we've got D# Plus version 4.4.6. This is the latest version, I think, isn't it? So it's running. Wow, you know, it's pretty cool. So if we check our like bot, then there we go, yeah. So it's our YouTube test bot that's come online. So that's pretty cool, right? And let's just execute some commands, right? So notice I'm not running anything from here. This is all from the VPS, right? I'm not doing anything from here, like not from Windows. This is all happening on Ubuntu, right? And there we go, man. It works pretty seamlessly, right? This is pretty cool. Like let's try some, you know, yeah. So like let's try the buttons. Screw it. Let's click on basics. Yeah, that's cool. It works. It's pretty standard. Let's do calculator. Yeah, like that's pretty cool. Like let's test out some prefix commands. So let's do test. There we go. It says hello world. Let's test out embed. Yeah, like that's all working. Yep, okay, so let's test out some slash commands. Okay, so let's see how that works. So if we do, yeah, there we go, like there's all our slash commands. I mean, it's pretty much the same. Like let's do calculator add. Why not? So let's do 100 plus 100. Let's see if it does it correctly. And there we go, 100 plus 100 equals 200. Like let's just upload this file. There we go. And then if and then if we press enter, then there we go. It's got, yep. Man, like this is pretty cool, right? So hopefully you guys have got this working, right? Like on your VPSs, because it's very simple. All you need to do is just install the .NET SDK, build your project, and then run it. Like it's much less of a hassle than like the .NET framework version I did in the older video, right? So that's why I'll keep both videos up, because like that one's for .NET framework and it's still being used, right? I'll keep that up. But this is for .NET Core, right? So that's how you do it. Like that's how you host your bot on a VPS. And I can host up to multiple bots. I can open a new tab and start cloning more Discord bots in here, right? Like I can open multiple tabs. Like this is just endless, man. So if you've got a good VPS, then you can run up to, you know, tens of thousands of Discord bots if you wanted to. Like seriously, that's how good a VPS is, right? Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. That's how you run your Discord bot on a VPS. Now note that there are other ways to host a Discord bot. So a virtual private server is just one of many ways to run Discord bots. But this is honestly the best way to do it because it's in the cloud. Once again, I hugely advise learning how to use Ubuntu and how to use the terminal because it's so important, right? It's so important. So that's that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, then obviously don't hesitate to leave a comment or join me in my Discord server where we can help you to our fullest. All the things I showed you, like all the links will be in the description, like all the VPS services, all the like .NET SDK stuff. Link to the old video on the VPS will also be in the description as well as a reference for like .NET framework. So that's that. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to my channel and I'll see you lot in the next video. Peace out.